Hello, welcome to Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You. Today's episode of Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Today is Thursday, August 21st. I'm Geoff Schwartz alongside Matt Ford. It is a Thursday before the NFL season starts, which means we are previewing another division of the National Football League. Matthew, sir, how are we doing today, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you. We're talking about maybe the two best divisions in the sport today, right? The AFC and NFC North. Very excited to get into this with you. I'm eager to see where we differ here.
Yeah, there is some variance, I think, in some of these teams based off schedule, based off quarterback, and based off some other factors for some of these teams that really matter. So for those who are new here, welcome. We're glad you're here. For those who have been here a long time, you know how we do this. Tuesday, it's me and Gabe, sort of National Football League, college football news and notes. And Thursdays will be division previews until the season starts. And then we will have a gambling episode every Thursday where we cover our 5 favorite wagers of the week. And with DraftKings aboard now, maybe Matt will hit on some props more than usual, as we probably should do that. And then, of course, we'll hit a little college football there at the end of the Thursday episode. So please subscribe if you haven't done that already, whether it's on podcast or whether it's on Football America on YouTube. All this stuff will be on YouTube all this podcasting will be on YouTube as well as we do video here. And how we do this is we take $10,000 total, we split it up, really 1,000 per division, 8,000. We have some spillover if we go a little over. We spend 1,000 per division on our favorite future wagers. They can be wins, win-losses, and playoff, no playoff, and some player props. And then we'll do one for every team. So even if your team stinks and you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate that. We'll cover your team as well. In the past, Matt, we have like sort of shoot those teams away, even though we are getting to the South at one point, and one team is on the ban list, and that team might not be talked about. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, we're doing the North divisions today. Matt, where would you like to start?
Let's start in the AFC. Let's start with Baltimore. Their
Okay.
over under is 11.5 wins. We'll go in order of highest win total to lowest. So Baltimore, 11.5. They are minus 650 to make the playoffs, plus 475 to miss. Minus 170, a very steep divisional favorite to win the division. I love Baltimore to repeat and win this division, I think, for the 5th straight year. Where are you?
I think that is probably the best wager and simplest wager to make for the Ravens because, like, you think about, look, Derrick Henry, we have a running back fade that we've been doing. And I think for some guys, it makes a lot of sense. For others, it doesn't. Derrick Henry doesn't feel like it makes sense to fade him, right, Matt? I mean, so many years now, you continue to do the same exact thing every year, right? Which is rush for a ton of yards. And he seemingly never gets hurt, right? Look how big and strong he is, right? I mean, it just feels very rare that we're going to see him ever miss a lot of time. So betting his under seems kind of foolish, right? You look at sort of the player props around Baltimore, the way they spread the ball around. I don't think there's a good one to go with. Could you take Lamar over passing? I guess maybe over rushing. I don't know. I don't feel great about taking a quarterback over rushing, especially if they win the division. They have to sit out the last week of the year. Derrick Henry touchdowns is certainly one. I would love if they put up a prop, by the way, like Derrick Henry 4th quarter rushing yards. Like that just made Baltimore a little different with Henry. Is that, remember for so many years, Matt, they couldn't finish out games. We'd be up 10 points and like they lose to the Raiders, right? Derrick Henry's made Baltimore better at finishing games. Hey, big fella, here's the ball. Go finish the game for us. Yep. Some concerns about their offensive line, in my opinion, but it's mitigated, I think, by the good they have around them in skill position. The other, the one guy that might be worth sort of a play, and it's not going to be as good anymore because, Andrews is a little beat up. Lively's beat up, right? Is any sort of Lively prop. Yeah. Like Lively before he got hurt, I think, was a really good wager for some of these overs. But since he is a little beat up right now, I don't know if that is any sort of play to be made.
Yeah, I think the way to play Baltimore, we'll get to props in a second. Last year, I was looking this up. They had sort of a funky start to the season. They had that crazy loss to the Chiefs. This year, they have to go at Buffalo. It seems unfair they have to do that 2 week ones in a row. And then they lost that goofy game to the Raiders, and they were 0-2. And then they snuck by the Cowboys, And then they smoked Buffalo, but then they had some other weird loss in here. They lost to the Browns in October. And then they just sort of went on a tear. And their schedule this year at Buffalo, home Cleveland's, home Detroit, at the Chiefs. And then after that, like they don't really have, then they go Houston, Rams, both at home bye. And then their second half of the season, like they have the Vikings in there and the Packers, but like Steelers games and Bengals games will be tough, but they kind of have an easier schedule. So I think one way to potentially play them is like if they have some goofy September where they're like 2-3 coming into the Rams game, like take them to win the division there, maybe. But my read on Baltimore is they're awesome, man. Like everything about them, I that we liked last year, I like more this year. No one's, Lamar got better last year. In theory, he should be more motivated after Josh Allen wins the MVP, and people are sort of like maybe had a little bit of Lamar fatigue last year. Henry, if he's healthy, like it's impossible to stop. Some nice additions on both sides. I just think Baltimore to win the division, you have to lay a bunch of money. You have to lay minus 170, but maybe you do that. I also think maybe playing their alternate win total, like maybe even up to 12.5, you get plus 150 if they go over that. I'm a huge buyer in Baltimore, partially because I'm fading pretty much the rest of this division. So I sort of can't say no to any bet that says like the Ravens are going to do well this year. But I don't know. What do you think?
What about, and I know we did this for, I believe the Bills, but what about 1 seed?
Yeah, that's a smart
for them.
Bet.
Like, because I think it's between like 3 teams essentially, right? Well, I'm trying to find. DraftKings has so many options here to find the.
They really do.
But I'm trying to find the 1 seed possibility here. That feels like a really good option for them. I mean, most wins that's plus 500 right now for Baltimore. Because if they're the 1 seed. We think the AFC will have the team with the better record, right? Because the NFC I think is actually pretty strong this year, especially in that with the Commanders and Cowboys and Eagles all kind of bundled up there. So I mean, where do you think we want to go here? I mean, Baltimore to win the division is definitely in discussion, right? So I'm gonna put that down.
Yeah. To win the AFC, they're plus 340, which is the same odds as the Bills now.
Yeah, but I don't like that because none of the teams can beat the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, yeah.
That's the problem. Baltimore most wins. I'm gonna put Baltimore most wins right here, just down on the sheet. It's 500, man. Like I feel like that's a good nibble on that one there.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of the player props I don't love for the reasons I've mentioned. Andrews receiving yards is 600. It's not terrible-ish, but like again, everyone's going to be on it because of the. And by the way, thank you for correcting me here. The likely injury. I keep calling him lively. I don't know why, but it's likely. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. So I think this is where we're at right now. So we should put down 1 seed. Okay.
Yep.
We'll put down division, and you want to put down just Baltimore alt wins?
Yeah, I like the alt wins at 12.5 for plus 150. I also Zay Flowers was the player prop I was looking at. His receiving yards total is at 900.5. Last year, he was over 1,000. So I guess I don't know why they think that. Maybe they just, maybe they like Rashad Bateman a little more this year. But I think Flowers is like the clear number 1. He's improved every year. I could definitely see him going over. He went from 858 to 1,059 yards last year. I don't know. He seems like the clear alpha there. So I would be happy to take his over yards.
What's the odds at?
Just even minus 110.
Okay, perfect. I know sometimes you get the minus 120 both sides.
Yeah.
Come on, sports books. We can be better than that. We can be better than that. Okay. Next team on this. I have some strong thoughts on the Bengals. I want to talk about the Bengals. Let's do this.
Too. Okay. So the Bengals win total is 9.5. They are minus 105 to the over, minus 115 to the under. They're minus 140 to make the playoffs, plus 115 to miss the playoffs, Geoff. I don't know if that caught your attention. They're plus 280 to win the division. I don't know, man. Cincinnati, they're a team that you and I have gone back and forth on a lot on this show. What do you think? Are they going to sort of like catch a break this year and make the playoffs?
No, they're not. Well, why are they making the playoffs this year, Matt? Okay, so let's talk about this. Last year, Joe Burrow had this historic season. And Joe Burrow's great. Like, this nothing about Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is awesome. But if I were to tell you that a team making the postseason had a bottom 5 offensive line and what appears to be a pretty bad defense, you would think I'm crazy, right? A team with a bottom 5 offensive line and a bottom 5 defense making the playoffs. As of right now, that's where they stand. Can they get better on defense? Sure, but they're getting gashed in the preseason. Your backup commander's offense is walking them down the field for touchdowns. I'm highlighting John Bates' tight end blocking there, Matt, on my social feed, Geoff Schwartz, awesome. because they're dominating the Bengals. Like, the Bengals defense has shown no. Now again, it's the preseason. I get it, but the starters are playing. And what's my metric for the preseason? Right? Does it look like it should? No, it doesn't look like it should in Cincinnati. Their offensive line is going to get Joe Burrow killed. I just don't like those two things. I think Burrow's fantastic. Chase is great. Like there's some good pieces, right? But to me, Matt, miss the playoffs again. I am all in on miss the playoffs. I even think if you want to play this, I know that this is probably, it's pretty bold, but like under 8.5 would be something that I would eye here for some value. Again, this is not anything about Burrow. I think Burrow's great, but they have just failed to put the team around him that you need to win a championship and really to make the playoffs as well.
Well, I'm not going to just pile on with the argument because I completely agree. I think the best way to sort of talk about this is to think about how to bet it. And I do want to make one point, though, which is, they kind of can't get better for their offense, right? Like,
correct.
Not only did Burrow have his best season statistically by far, he was healthy. Chase was healthy. Higgins missed some time, but ultimately, like, the problem wasn't the offense. The problem was, the defense and just like some weird games where like they kind of, like the Ravens overtime loss at the beginning of the season. Obviously, the Patriots week 1, like the Commanders game where they like played a good game and lost. Those kinds of games, like they didn't fix that. And if anything, their best defensive player is sitting on the sidelines this whole preseason holding out anyway. So I think that they're just a fade across the board. And, Ja'Marr Chase to me feels like the kind of guy you might want to fade. He's being just penciled in as a repeat, league-wide receptions or yardage leader. Do you know the last player to repeat as the receiving champ in the NFL? Can you guess who that was?
Oh boy, to guess is the receiving champion. It's probably like is it Tyreek Hill?
It is not Tyreek Hill. He won it last year. He had the most yards in 2023. The last guy to do it was Calvin Johnson in 2012. Wow. So in the meantime, like you look back and you're like, oh, well, no one's going to stop Chase. Like the year before, no one's going to stop Hill or Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp or Michael Thomas or Julio Jones or Antonio Brown. Like this every year there's a turnover at the top. So I'm a buyer in their unders across the board. I love them missing the playoffs. I think if you really want to get crazy, you can even play them under 7.5. That's plus 320. And that's basically like, you're never rooting for this, but the defense either completely falls apart or like, if Joe Burrow misses 2 games, are they winning 8 games? Like, I'm like, if he gets COVID, you know what I mean? Like they're not to make light of that, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's just no room for error with this team. So I think, we could put a modest bet on some of these alt total unders. But I definitely think missing the playoffs is absolutely the way to play this.
So I want to bring up something too with this. So Joe Burrow last year threw for nearly 5,000 yards, right? 49-18. If you had to guess, and this, I know it's in the document, so I think it's the document, but if you had to guess what Joe Burrow's passing yardage is for this year on DraftKings right now. So again, nearly 5,000 yards. What do they have him at right now, you think?
5,000 probably. Like I think everyone's expecting him to be better.
4,100.
See, this is why the
4,150.
They know
4,150.5.
Yep, they know things.
Like that. That's also why I think they're going under. Like the sportsbook is telling you that. Now, to be fair, right now as we talk, okay, as we record this, these numbers are going to come down and down and down because sharps, the sharp people that move these lines are hitting unders for now. These numbers might pop back up at some point next couple of days as people start realizing, oh, NFL starts soon. I'm going to put my wager in right now. And they're like 41.50 over, right? So you might even get a better under number, Matt, if you wait till the season starts. So just worth pointing out right now. So I put down here so far Bengals no playoffs and Bengals under 8.5 wins, plus 180.
I love that. Yeah, sorry, Bengals fans. By the way, I love watching your team. They're the most fun team, I think, to watch week to week, including watching Chris Rodriguez gash you for 40-yard rushes with no one touching him. I enjoyed that as well. Why don't we talk about a team that I am sure we're going to have some spirited conversation about? Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they are hilariously sitting right at 8.5 wins. Slightly juiced to the over, that's minus 115. If you're brave enough to fade Tomlin, it's minus 105. They're plus 115 to make the playoffs, minus 140 to miss, plus 500 to win the division. I have a take here, but I'm curious where you are with the Steelers.
So I actually think their over is probably the play here. I don't love it because I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers essentially to be good, which I think he's better than I'm giving him credit for, Matt.
Wow. I did not expect this.
But I got burned last year pretty bad on the unders until I didn't, basically. The Steelers to me though feel like a team that you might get more out of waiting to bet their win total at some point in the regular season. So, for example, it's Jets, Seahawks, Patriots to start the season. There's a Browns, Bengals, Colts in there early on. And the back half of their season is where it's at. It's Chargers at Los Angeles, Bengals at the Bears, Bills, Ravens, Lions, Ravens. Yep. Browns are thrown in there. Like, it feels like there's a break point sort of halfway through the season. It would be a better time to jump on their win total under.
Yeah, that's a smart way to play it. It's funny, Geoff. I feel like, God, they won 10 last year. They won 10 games with Fields and Wilson. It's really hard to make the case I'm about to make. I just feel like whenever this streak ends, it's going to end hard.
And bad. And poorly, like 5 wins.
It's going to go up in flames. And it's because, like, Tomlin is, I mean, we have praised Mike Tomlin on this show probably more than any person, right? Like, how many times have we bet on the Steelers on this show? Like, I would say most weeks we bet on the Steelers. So if anyone just wants to call me a hater, like, please check the body of work. It's insane. It's like borderline psychopathic how much we've backed the Steelers over the years. I just feel like, to me, this almost feels like Mike Tomlin saying, this is my last hurrah. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but if you're going in with Aaron Rodgers, like, you're wearing the bomb. Like, you are basically saying, I'm going out on my shield if this goes wrong. Like, they've always sort of danced around each other. They have Metcalf now. Like, they're taking the home run swing. And if it goes poorly, it is going to bomb. Like, it could fall apart very quickly. You look at the rest of their offense and it is just like very uninspired. Like, their offensive line's better. I get that. But, like, who are we starting at wide receiver alongside Metcalf? Like, Robert Woods or Calvin Austin? We've got Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson in the backfield. Like, those, they're going to have to keep up with, like, even when we're talking about like Seattle in week 2 and the Vikings in week 4, it's just like a tough sell. Their preseason line, they're underdogs in 11 games. So I think that if this were any team other than the Steelers, we would just sort of say, like, Aaron Rodgers with, like, this aging defense that, Cam Hayward, by the way, like, one of these, like, sneaky holdouts that no one's talking about all off season. Yes, I get that they have some big names back there, but they're kind of old. And, like, I don't know, man. I'm fine looking like an asshole if I'm wrong, but I just don't see it this year. I just can't see them getting over 500 with this group.
I like it. I like your argument there. It makes total sense, where they are, and I agree with you. Like the drop off when it happens is going to happen fast.
Yeah.
You said they're underdog in 11 games this year. So
Underdog
far
in
now,
11 games, according to Warren Sharp. Yeah.
Well, we have 11 wagers that we've already made, so that's good. It's a good start.
Okay. Yeah,
it's a good start. For those who are new here, there's no better coach at covering games as underdog, especially at home in division, than Mike Tomlin. Like when we go through our wagers of the week, it's one of those where we just like auto Sharpie immediately. We don't care what the situation is until the end of the season. Then we do we might vary from that. I do like one prop actually, Matt, here. It's not traditional for our podcast. Caleb Johnson, the rookie from Iowa, his total is 725.5. I actually like the over in that, Matt. Last year, Najee Harris had 1,000 yards rushing. Caleb Johnson is better than Najee Harris. And they're going to do the same thing they've always done, right? They're going to run the football. They're going to try to bleed the clock out of games. They're going to protect the passing game with the run. Their offensive line, it was young last year, is better. Like they got some dudes like in year 2 now, center. I think they end up being right guard. Maybe some issues at tackle. Sure, young at right tackle. They're still trying to get the most out of Jones, but 725 seems low. And I know Warren might be the lead back, quote unquote, to start the season on the depth chart. But he's not a number one running back. He's great in the position that he's in. I think Caleb Johnson over 725.5 is a very doable number for the rookie.
I like that. That's an interesting play, especially given where you usually sit. I just want to point out, dude, that last year, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers went 5-12, and this year they exchanged him for Justin Fields, who is the backup for the Steelers, and their win total is 5.5. So they're basically saying like there's no difference between those two guys, and I feel like the Jets are kind of a darling team this year. But I don't know. This is just like a ton of respect for Mike Tomlin, which is 100% warranted. And we will be fading this under that we're probably going to bet here every single week. I don't think I would rather I don't think I would want to take the over. I would lean under, and I would lean under. I kind of like the under 7.5 as a play. That's plus 150. Like my theory being if they're going to collapse, like they're going to collapse. But that's probably like completely unlikely to hit, but that is just kind of how I read it.
We could wager. We could put our our wagers. I could stagger them on the money, right? Like that could be a half unit play for those who are sort of saw our graphic we put out. Basically, the what we're doing is we have so many wagers is basically the baseline to win $100. Like that's like the 1 unit type wager. So if you see that I put basically a unit and a half to win 150 on it. That's, I think, what we feel more comfortable with. And then obviously the long shot ones, like if we play, for example, so far, if we play, a Steelers under 7.5, that's probably going to be $50, right? And we play Baltimore most wins 500, that'd be $50. Somewhere around that. That's how we'll play, I think, a lot of these as well. So that is what that's how we'll stagger these out. So we have I put Johnson there over 725.5, Steelers under 7.5 at 150. Are those the ones you're comfortable with?
Let's do it, man. Why don't we move to the last team in the division here? The Cleveland Browns, one of the saddest teams in the league, unfortunately for Browns fans once again. Their line is at 5.5 plus 125 if you're brave enough to go over. They are minus 1,600 to make the playoffs. My God. Okay. How do you want to play this? I can't imagine you're a buyer.
No, I just think we take the under 5.5 minus 150.
Minus 150. Why don't we do an alternate number?
Under 4.5 then?
Yeah. I mean, you think they're going to win 5?
Sure.
Like, I don't.
So under 4.5 is 135. That's fine with me. I think alt numbers end up being, I'm not one of these people that's like, I'm not very good at math. Like I'm not one to tell you it's a positive EV on this one. And this is value, but like, it does feel like they're going to be, look, think about quarterback rooms right now in the NFL. They're bottom 3, right? With the Saints and the Jets right now.
Oh yeah.
Flacco's going to start. And then Shajar's probably going to play at some point. Gabriel's, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 quarterbacks started this season. It feels like a complete lost season for them. How much of their star players, they're going to play hard every week, but eventually you get demoralized when you're in this situation, right, Matt? Like Myles Garrett's going to play hard every week. We get that. But eventually this sort of wears on you, right? Having no offensive support. I just don't, The offensive line's getting old. This is like a make or break year for the O line too. Like they're old and all their guys are not going to be there next year most likely. Feels like a bad situation for everyone. I think under 4.5 makes sense, and we should spend no more time on them.
Yeah, here's one more bet. There's a great section on DraftKings called Drive to Week 5.
Where you
predict their record through 5 weeks.
Oh, I love this. Yes.
So the Browns' schedule for the first 5 weeks against Cincy, at Baltimore, home for Green Bay, at Detroit, versus Minnesota. 0-5. No, I don't think there's a single doubt in my mind they're going 0-5 there. And you can do that on the drive for week 5 for plus 340, which is really tasty, I think. So maybe we can put
I like that. 340. Okay. So 340. So what else you got?
No, that's it.
Okay, so let me just read these quickly, and then you have to sort of wait for our graphic essentially to come out because I'll adjust it as we go. We're not going to do the math, and we get to sit here, listen to me lumber through figuring out which ones we're going to play. But Baltimore win the division minus 170. Baltimore most wins at 500 plus 500. An alt number Baltimore over 12.5. Matt put down Flowers over 900.5, and that's a maybe, right? I think you do like that one.
Yeah, sure. We can put it in.
Okay. Bengals, no playoffs. We love that one. Bengals under 8.5. I put in Johnson over 7.5. Johnson over 725.5. Steelers under 7.5. Browns under 4.5. And the Browns first 5. I did a baseball thing for first 5-0 wins plus 340 here. So that's it for the AFC North. If you're watching on YouTube, we aren't going anywhere. If you're listening on audio, again, we thank you. Please take some time right now. Just subscribe. Just do it. Leave a review if you want. We'll be back in just a second. We got to pay some bills to do the NFC North. All right, Matt, we're back here on YouTube and on our podcast platforms here to do the North. I'm excited to do the Lions because I have some interesting thoughts about Detroit, and I don't think Detroit fans are going to like my takes.
A former Detroit Lion, albeit briefly, potentially going against his own. 10.5 is the win total here, which I was surprised was that low. It is plus 110 to take the over. They are minus 170 to make and plus 140 to miss the playoffs, plus 160 to win the division, which I have a feeling is a popular bet. Sounds like you're a Lions fader. Make the case. Okay,
so we know they have their 6 division games, right? Like we know that it's going to be tough, right? 6 division games, like it's going to be tough go of it. Here are their non-division games. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Okay. They're at Baltimore, at Cincinnati, at Kansas City. They do host the Bucks. They're at the Commanders. They're at the Eagles. They're at the Rams, and they end the season in 2 division games at the Vikings, at the Bears. Buddy, that is as bad as it gets for a road schedule. Again, Eagles, Commanders, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens, Rams, plus the 3 division opponents they have to play on the road as well. Matt, any other team, we would just go under on that. 2 new coordinators, already some injuries piling up. They're not. This is really nothing against the Lions. I think we talk about this when we do the NFC West. I think if Stafford's not healthy, but I think the Rams are better than the Niners, but the schedule for the Niners makes them a better record type of thing. The Lions are probably better than every team in this division, but their record is hellacious. I mean, their schedule is hellacious, dude. How are they navigating this schedule and getting over 10 wins? I mean, they have to be the best team in the NFL, essentially, to get over 10 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree, and I think they're not that. I think the big thing for them is going to be obviously like the brain drain issue that every other podcast has talked about, but 2 new starters on the O-line.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's talking about it. Yeah.
I know, of course they have.
Yeah. They're, when you actually talk about their personnel, there are just some guys who you're just that, they were just all pros all across the field last year. And you just sort of take away a little piece of the Jenga thing. And you're like, with no Ben Johnson, are we really scared of Jameson Williams and Tim Patrick that much? Maybe, I don't know. Could Jared Goff maybe take a step back without, a Hall of Fame center and, a downgrade potentially left guard in front of him? Another team that has dealt with a crazy amount of injuries over the years. I agree. I just feel like it's not a fun one to go under on. And we kind of have to figure out like who we're saying is going to be better, which obviously is the next sort of part of this conversation. But I don't know how you go over with this. So I think I'm with you on the under, even if we have to lay minus 130. I don't think I'm a buyer in the alt line here because they easily could get to 10 wins because, they have obviously proved it year after year. But I'm with you. I'm just not a buyer in them this year.
Okay, so can I sell you on then another wager for them possibly? So what about Lions to finish second in division at plus 230?
Okay, interesting. Why don't we pencil that? Because I think we then need to hear who your first place team is and if they could even maybe be the third. I was going to say, what about miss the playoffs? Because they're plus 140. They have
I would be shocked.
Longest odds. Only the Chiefs, Eagles, Ravens, and Bills are ahead of them.
Something would have to go really bad for them this year for that to happen, in my opinion. So this is the problem about the second place in the division. We're going to get to Packers and Vikings in a second. And I don't have a great answer for you about who that is. We could do Packers now, I guess, Matt. So lead us off with the Packers. And we'll look, maybe you want to combine Packers and Vikings. I mean, they're both at the same win total, but like I think they all, for this discussion, for the start of this discussion, they are combined, right?
Yes, they're both 9.5. The Packers are minus 120 to go over, plus 100 to go under. The Vikings are plus 105 to go over and minus 125 to go under.
Yeah.
Both are favored to make the playoffs. Packers plus 250 to win the division. Vikings plus 300. I think of these two teams, I would pick the Packers. I think across the board they're pretty solid. They have a really underrated coach. I think Jordan Love was banged up all last year, but I'm curious where you net out between these two.
So here's the division preview that I say every single year. Okay, you won't hear this anywhere else except Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you. Maybe not. I don't know. Matt mentioned a lot of podcasts talking about the Lions. I'll talk about what I've said this for years. I've said this for years. Okay, the best quarterback wins at least 7 of 8 divisions. Most often 8 of 8 divisions, right? So the best quarterback wins. So if we have this discussion about the best quarterback right now in this division, okay, it's either Jared Goff or Jordan Love. As of right now, McCarthy might get there. He's not there yet. Caleb Williams is not there yet. So it makes sense for the Packers to win the division. You think about what happened last year where they basically just lost to playoff teams by touchdown or less for the most part, right? This is what happened last season. So they're right on the threshold. You add in, and look, I think sometimes when teams have quiet off seasons, which the Packers always do, you just forget about them. Where the Bears, they went and got offensive linemen, they went and got Ben Johnson, they went all these guys. You forget, like, oh, the Packers were right there last year, like just right on the cusp of being the division winner. They're right there. And you had another year of seasoning, another year for Jordan Love. You add Golden in there, good offensive line. So defense is fine, right? Like it's a winning defense. I think the Packers, if we're taking the Lions to basically finish second, we correlate that. You had to either take the Packers over 9.5 wins, Matt, or just take the Packers to win the division.
The thing about the Packers, they have a remarkably easy schedule, which is kind of strange to say. Like they see the Panthers and the Giants and the Browns, like for a division, having to play this division in 6 games, that's sort of a surprise to say. They're favored in 13 games, which is pretty interesting. And they also, LaFleur's record in December and January, he's unbelievable. He's 20-4 in December, 4-3 in January with the Packers. So they tend to start a little bit slower. And they have, Detroit and the Commanders on a home Thursday night game, which is a nice advantage for them. But they have a week 5 bye. So if any team is like probably going to take advantage of that, it's a team that tends to like do really well at the end of the season, start a little bit slow. They have a young team that they can sort of coach up in that bye week. So I like that. I'm kind of a buyer on the Matthew Golden hype. I feel like, he could, if he is a difference maker for them, then all of a sudden, like their receiving core of all these kind of guys who are fine. If there's a true alpha in that mix, with Kraft, like, and a pretty decent offensive line, they all of a sudden are just like, yeah, they're just like good. They're just good all the way around. They're not amazing, but they're good, which is not necessarily the ingredient I want to take when I'm picking a division winner. But I think of them and the Vikings, like I just trust LaFleur and Jordan Love a little bit more than I do the Vikings.
Well, so the thing with the Vikings is we just don't know what JJ McCarthy is going to be this year. We just don't know. And we'll get to them in just a second to round out the discussion on the Vikings. We just don't know. Like we don't know what they're going to be this year. And we know what the Packers are going to be. They're as steady as they come, right? As steady as they come. And it feels like that is a really good team to wager on because you know what you're getting with them. You just do.
Yeah, that's right.
And
they're solid.
Yeah. So we have Packers win division. It's 250. Is that the one we want to play? So is it redundant to play Lions second place and then Packers also to win the division?
Maybe. I do want to talk about the Bears before we lock in all our positions. Why don't we spend another minute on the Vikings?
I want to touch the Vikings in full, but I'm going to do that. I want to finish up with the Packers. Are we done with the Packers for now?
I think so. Because I want to wait till the end to do how we slot the division.
Okay. Also, I'm looking at this now, and we forgot to make one of our favorite wagers we make every year for the Lions, which is Amon-Ra St. Brown over receiving yards.
Yeah, we do have to do that. We just have to lock that in. It's just a ritual.
It's 1,100 yards, which is a lot. But this is our guy. We've done this every year of his career, I believe, right, Matt? And every year of his career, we've done this. And every year of his career, he has not let us down.
I think, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty low number considering last 2 years, 1263 and 1515. And the year before was 1161. Is he, I wonder what other ways we can play that. I think, we love him on Ross St. Brown. Let's just pencil that one in. 8.5.
I totally forgot about that. I actually forgot about that. That was like that's a team bet here we do every year.
I think another guy to bounce back is Sam Laporta. I think everyone's just kind of pissed off because he was such a fantasy disappointment last year. His receiving yards total is 675. Last year, you would think he had kind of a down year. He was at 726. So I'm not exactly sure what that number is. I think that's an easy over, but clearly I'm missing something if I'm over on every single prop that we circle. But I think that's not a bad bet.
I'm looking, by the way, at some of these unders for running backs. It was such a good year for running backs last year that it spooks me. Like Josh Jacobs is at 1050 for the Packers. Gibbs is at 1075. I mean, under is probably always the play here, but geez, man, I mean, it's 1,000 yards. These guys can get that if they stay healthy for 16 games. It feels like a pretty easy ask for them.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
All right, you want to do Vikings now?
Yeah, let's do the Vikings. Okay. We mentioned their totals 9.5. Another contender to win the division. What do you think? Is JJ McCarthy going to lift this team, or does it not even matter because of Kevin O'Connell?
So, this past week, I was watching preseason football, as one does. I don't think you watch. You watch preseason, Matt?
Yeah.
You watch the Commanders play? You watch all of it, or just like the Commanders?
I mean, I definitely watched the Commanders offense the other night. So yes, okay. I watched some of it.
So I was watching the Vikings game because I had the over in the game and it didn't hit, sadly. But the third quarter, they had Kevin O'Connell on the mic. He was on the microphone for the entire quarter with Paul Allen on the broadcast. It was incredible. He was talking through every play. He was explaining what was happening. It was so insightful and it was fantastic. And we already know he's a good coach, but I was like, sign me up for this guy, man. And I want to be on the Vikings. I want to root for Kevin O'Connell's teams. I think they're well coached and they do things the right way. The problem is, Matt, the number one problem is, what is JJ McCarthy? Anyway, I actually feel like we almost have to break our rule and just not do no Vikings wagers because I don't know what McCarthy is going to be. If McCarthy is good, they could be a Super Bowl team this season. I mean, the roster is that good. Look at the roster. Defensively, with Brian Flores and what they do defensively, offensively now, I know they're beat up, and Addison might, is out 3 games. Jefferson, who knows? But like, let's just throw a month of maybe some not normal wide receiver reps. But look at Jefferson, Naylor, Addison, the tight ends, the running backs, the offensive line healthy and improved up front. Maybe inching to a top 5 unit potentially by the end of the season. It's all McCarthy, man, and we know nothing about McCarthy. He didn't practice last season, and so I think they're probably an over team, Matt. But I don't know how McCarthy's going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough one to bet. I agree. I think it's a pass for the same reason, because I feel like we'll feel stupid either way. We'll either say we took this like crazy bet on JJ McCarthy to win the division with the Lions and the Packers and the Bears in it, and or it'll flip the other way. They're a tough one to handicap, man. The thing that's really worrisome to me is like Justin Jefferson being banged up already. This is also true of AJ Brown. This is not good. When you're like, highly, highly paid receiver is banged up in the preseason and in training camp, you don't like to see that. You want to see them at least start the year clean. So that's a bit on my radar. You mentioned the Addison thing. So I agree, man. This is just kind of a pass of a team for me, but I also would not be surprised if, they went, a couple rounds deep into the playoffs.
So Bears, Falcons, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, first 5 weeks. What do we think what do you think we got for wins in that?
I mean, could be 3, could be 5, could be
I'm not
2.
even sure. I don't think they even have Minnesota up right now on this market because of the injuries.
5, yeah.
It's not up. Yeah, they're not even up. It's funny. So I think if we could play like a drive to 5, because I'm trying to find like a wager, right? I mean, we're trying to find wagers for all this, but they're not up because I think again they're figuring out injuries and JJ McCarthy. I think no one knows what McCarthy's going to do this year.
Yeah, they're a tricky team. Well, I think why don't we do this? I think we should take a break here. We have to take one more break for our audio show.
Yeah,
and I'm going to surprise you with a take on this last team, and then we can figure out how we want to sort of play this division. So for our audio listeners, stick around because we have one last team, and I think I'm going to surprise Geoff with what I think about them. So Geoff, we're back.
Please don't do it. Please. I think I know what you're doing. Please don't do this.
Okay, I think I have to. This is going to be good. The Chicago Bears, their win total is 8.5. They're plus 115 to the over. They are plus 160 to make the playoffs, minus 195 to miss. They are plus 500 to win the division. Geoff, we've talked a lot about like what could go right and what can go wrong with some of these teams. Like, what if things just kind of go right for the Bears? When you look at their roster, you're telling me that a team with all this offensive talent, including like a massively upgraded interior offensive line, you have a first-round tight end. You have a basically first-round receiver who's now like their number 3 in burden. You've got Moore and Adunze. We loved Adunze on this show. We were both super high on him last year. They have a pass rush. They added Grady Jarrett in the middle. They have good linebackers. They have a solid secondary. Like, there's no obvious hole on this team. And then there's Caleb, who everyone is just saying like, this Caleb guy, like he's kind of a weird dude, which we both agree on. It's a little bit scary to bet on him, but like if we're making the case that the Lions are going to kind of fall apart because of Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn leaving, like shouldn't the Bears get some kind of boost for Ben Johnson coming? So I just look at this team and I'm like, they have a lot of ways they can beat you on offense, and their defense has never been the problem. They added Dennis Allen as their defensive coordinator. The guy might not be a good head coach, but he can certainly coach defense. And they play the Vikings and the Lions in the first 2 weeks. What if they just win those 2 games? Like they have their foot on the gas for the rest of the season. They do have a hard schedule, a bizarrely hard schedule for a 4th place team. But I keep looking at this team and going like, why can't it be them? There's going to be one worst to first team, and no one has this team as the team. Everyone has the Bengals. Some people are getting cute and talking about the Titans, which I think is, I guess is possible because the rest of that division is so bad. But like, why can't it be the Bears?
Well, the problem, Matt, is everyone's on the Bears like this. Like that's the issue. It's like, I see everyone's like, I saw a professional sharp, a guy who like I trust in the space, say, well, they play well against the Bengals, I'm all in, or the Bills, I'm all in. They beat the Bills like 33-6 last preseason.
I didn't include that in my argument for the record.
I know. Okay, so I was going to take their under, by the way. So we're on different sides.
Well, we can go head to head on this.
We can't take both unless we do
no, you and I can. Yeah.
Oh, we can go head to head on this. It's not for our show, though. We have to have something for our show.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Oh man. I mean,
tell me why I'm wrong, because you obviously don't agree with me, but it's to make the case.
I just think it's mostly just Caleb Williams. I need to see it be much better. And if it is, then like I'm in for the Matt.
But I think don't you think like the way people are talking about Drake May, about Michael Penix, about, I feel like everyone is down, thinks Jaden's going to regress, and they think Caleb is just going to be what he was last year. And it's like, why are we, it's a double standard. So I just don't know why Caleb Williams, who was every single person, including me, would have said that he should have been the first pick last year, isn't going to improve with perhaps the best offensive coordinator in the league. Okay.
So one thing I do like with the Bears, and maybe we split the difference here. Caleb Williams last year threw for 3,500 yards. His number's at 3,600. Like, I feel like that's a good wager, over 3,600 for Caleb Williams passing yards.
I like that. Let's take that.
I just think like that's where I like where he'll probably end up in that offense.
How about this one, Geoff? The DraftKings has a special called Kings of the North, which is that all four of these teams make the playoffs. It's plus 1,200. I don't think that's very likely, but I think for a plus 1,200, if we like all these teams, like it is possible. I think that's worth worth a $5 bet.
The problem is that means your Commanders are out probably.
Yeah, but it's plus 1,200. It's a fun DraftKings bet.
So all Kings of the North, Kings of the. I feel like this should be a better number, by the way.
Yeah, I do too. This is a tough one. I also
like this number should be. I feel like if you. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about this.
There was another team special I liked for the Bears, which was I'm a bit of a buyer on DeAndre Swift. He's gone to all these like really good coordinators, and
that number is actually fair. If you parlay them all together, you get 1,200. So that's okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you could. There's a team special for DeAndre Swift to go for 10 touchdowns and have 1,000 rushing yards, which is basically like he's the RB1 for good offense. That's plus 1,000. I feel like I don't think that's so crazy to take that. He's never had a 10 touchdown season, and he's never really had a breakout season. But everywhere he goes, like people seem to take these like half bets on him. So I don't hate that one as a team special for the Bears.
We just have so many overs.
We do.
It's making me upset.
I know. I need to be sharper on the next one. I'm picking ones that are fun. That's
because I sort of like a Colston Love, like a Colston Loveland, I like him to have a good season. Like I think they don't have it up now, but I think Colston Loveland will have a ton of touchdowns this season. I think he'll be the guy that they target in the red zone. That's a mismatch for everyone. That's the easy throw for Caleb Williams. I don't see it up right now on DraftKings, but because he's not really like the starter per se. They're not putting some of those numbers up, but it does feel like Colston Loveland to have what would be 4.5, 5.5 touchdowns, maybe less than that. I would be all in on that if they ever post that.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I like the Loveland. I like Loveland. I like this team. I do think I was going to pitch them winning the division. It doesn't sound like you're into that. So maybe why don't we go back and talk about, the Packers, the Lions second, maybe. Like, I think there's a bunch of fun ways to do that, and then we can wrap.
All right, Matt. I think we have it as Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4? Do you have the Bears higher, Vikings lower?
I think we should play that for the show. I have my difference of opinion on the Bears, but I do think that's pretty likely.
Okay, where do you think the Bears finish?
I think the best value is taking them. If they're one game back of the two teams we like, I think it's fun to play them plus 500 to win the division. I definitely think them plus 160 to make the playoffs is a good bet. But I think for the purposes of the show, why don't we do Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears, or Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears?
Okay. What about this? How about this though? Ready? Exact finish. Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings, 19-1.
I love that. Let's do it. We need some more of these 19-1s, man. We're supposed to have fun with these. And by the way, one of those hits, and all of a sudden we've had a profitable season. Like, it's not even just like a preseason; it's a profitable full season.
So, I think we want to play Packers over 9.5 too. I feel like that's we still kind of over. We have Lions under. We have an under at least. Okay, I'll take that. So we have Lions under 10.5. Lions. I feel like Lions second place and Packers win the division are redundant.
Yeah, but they're both fun.
But the Lions finish second place. It does cancel out the wager at the end, so we can keep both of them. St. Brown over 1,105. Laporta over, right? You like that one?
Yep.
Caleb Williams over. Kings of the North, and then the exact finish in the division.
Dude, I think we had fun with this one. We've got these were two really good divisions. I think we have some smart bets and some fun bets here. No such thing as a bad bet on this show. And yeah, man, I feel good about these.
So we have we've spent really none of our rollover money yet. We have nearly $2,000 left in rollover money. I'm just letting you know, man, if we don't spend that money, it's going on Bills to win the division. I've told you this. I'm just if we can't spend this money, which I don't think so far in these two divisions we've done, I don't see us really going over. I might trim a little bit of that AFC North out because we got a bunch of the sort of same-ish wagers. But we got some alt numbers there, but it's going to that or Chiefs to win the division, which we'll get to eventually one day, the West. Yeah, I feel good, right? I mean, I feel like we're where we need to be in this division.
Me too. Yeah, we'll talk about those rollovers once we get through the rest of these divisions, but I feel good about where we are so far. Any
last words? Any catch your attention?
Bill Krosky Merritt. That's all I got to say. Bill Krosky Merritt.
Is how's the worry level for the Commanders right now with the two holdouts, whatever they are?
Who's the second?
Terry.
Well, no,
and Brian Robinson.
Oh, the Brian Robinson thing I'm not worried about at all. But the Terry thing is on my radar firmly, and it's not great. It's not great. This is a team that should be just flying high, and it's not great, but they looked pretty damn good the other night. So we'll see.
Next Thursday, can we also spend maybe like 10 minutes on college football futures? Because college football starts in earnest next week, and I have a lot of win totals I like.
Let's do it.
And I think we should spend time next week on. So we'll do. What do you want to do? The South? How about this? We do the South. We'll do the South next week because those are not fun divisions, and we'll spend some extra time on college football wagers. I'm so excited. College football is with 6 games this weekend. Week 0 real games. They count this weekend, and then next week we'll go to Eugene, which will be a lot of fun with the family, and then we'll do. DK Metcalf wants 33 per year. Okay, that's a lot of money. Good for him. I hope he can get it. I hope for all these guys to make money, right? Don't we all root for them to make money?
Of course.
Okay. Well, we're back on Tuesday with Gabe, back on Thursday with Matt. Thank you to DraftKings. Thank you to all who are listening. If you're listening still right now, please go subscribe. Go give us a rating. Go to YouTube and hit subscribe. That helps us keep the bills paid here as well. So enjoy the weekend of college football. Enjoy the weekend of baseball as well. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.